Hi guys, my name is Joe Valdez. So earlier I showed you how to butcher a strip loin. Okay, I'm going to teach you now how important it is to have your own meat grinder at home. It's important for a number of reasons. You can make your own sausage, you can make your own ground beef, you can make your own ground chicken, ground turkey, all sorts of things. Okay, so the possibilities really are endless. It really is such a cheap device that just attaches onto your KitchenAid or your stand mixer, whatever you have going on. Later on in another video, I'm going to teach you how to make some bolognase. So I'm going to just do a quick little tutorial on how to grind meat, how to clean and keep your meat grinder in tip-top shape. So let's get started. All right, guys, so this is my little meat grinder kit. I also have some sausage fillers and a bunch of other things that go along with this, but I just want to show you really how simple and how easy it is to grind your own meat at home. This was probably only a $50 or $60 kit that I just found off of Amazon. A lot of restaurants use equipment just like this, maybe just in bigger proportions because of the amount of volume that they have to do. But this is perfect for my own home. I use this all the time, 2-3 times a week, okay, making my own ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey, like I mentioned before. So I'm just gonna assemble this really quick, show you really how simple it is, okay? This is like a little crankshaft, just goes right inside, okay, and you'll notice it fits nice and snug right there out the back, okay? This right here is a little propeller blade, okay, and I just like to tighten it right there. Okay, this is the front plate, okay, and I always try to soak mine in oil, that way it doesn't rust. This is a different type of steel than some of this other stuff. This is actually really nice and hard. Okay, so this just slips right there on front, and this is the cover guard to keep it all in place, nice and tight. Okay, so I have my stand mixer right here. A lot of you will notice it has this front plate. I don't know if you've ever used it or not, but you take this out, this little front cover, this slides nicely in there, okay, and make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, this is a top guard, okay, you just kind of slide your meat right in there. Now, the most important thing with using a meat grinder at home is never, ever, ever putting your fingers down in there. Okay, I don't care how long your fingers are, it doesn't matter. This is a really dangerous device if you're not careful. So we have this little plug, it pushes our meat down kind of like a juicer would, all right? And I always keep this nice and clean as well. Okay, so I have a nice big bowl down here. I have some beef scraps from our strip loin. I have some pork scraps from a boneless shoulder roast I cut a while ago, and these have been sitting in my freezer for about a week or so. Just take them out overnight, let them defrost, and we're just going to kind of mix up both of these together. And I also have a little bit more ground beef I bought from the store. And now this is an 80-20, so it's kind of lean on the fat side, especially for me for making sauces or burgers. So with this strip loin, I left a bunch of fat on, and it's just going to create more flavor. Okay, so making sure our stand mixer is nice and locked. Okay, and I like to get it on like a 3, maybe a 4. We'll keep it on a 3 for today. Okay, so I just want to make sure that visibly I can see that propeller is moving inside. What that does is it allows the meat to continue moving out. Okay, and if it gets stuck, you know, make sure that the KitchenAid is unplugged. Okay, always, whenever you're cleaning any sort of sharp equipment, make sure that it can't turn on. Okay, you got to be very, very careful. So we're going to go ahead and get started with some beef right here. I like to try to keep the beef scraps in nice long portions. And the first couple ones are going to slide in there nice and easy. Okay, like I said, never, ever, ever putting my fingers anywhere near there. And I'll go ahead and use this little, I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe I got to turn it up a little bit. Okay. You see some of those white caps coming out? That's some of that fat that's mixing in there. And that's great. Okay, never putting my fingers inside. Kind of letting it do its own thing. And again, like if you use a lot of pork in these, and that's great, they have these attachments that you can slip the intestine on, and your sausage will come out, and all you gotta do is tie it off. It's nice and easy. Okay, so we're a little bit into the beef side. I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing some pork in too. That way it'll make it easier on our hands when we go to mix this. So with the pork, from that shoulder I butchered, you see how it's nice and pink coming out? Nice and white. So we got a great mix going on here. We're just gonna keep adding some pork in the top. And as long as all this is nice and defrosted, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes. Okay. I can tell some of that fat in the pork is getting stuck in that spiralizer in there. Okay, because I'm having to put a little bit more pressure on the top. And, you know, I've made the mistake in the past working for an old chef. I once stuck the handle of a wooden whisk down a meat grinder and it tore it up. Man, Emery, if you're watching this, I know you were pissed about that. I still haven't found a replacement. So, all right, so all the beef is done. We're gonna continue with all this pork in here. Nice and gentle. It's a great way to use your scraps. Use your scraps, use your scraps, use your scraps. You know, you make chicken meatballs, turkey chili. We are just about there. This is the last piece going in right now. Once that last piece is in, I'm gonna let it run for just a couple minutes. Okay, let it work its magic. Try to constantly scrape this off just a little bit. Nice and easy. Now there's nothing sharp on this side, right? Okay, so everything dangerous is in here, and you got to be really mindful of that. So you hear that? There's no meat left in that tube, and that's great. That's exactly what we want. Turn it up just a little bit, see if I can get any more out of there. Okay, I think that's about it. So before I go on touching anything else, I'm going to make sure that this thing is unplugged. Okay, so take the plug out, leave it over there on the side. Making sure that this thing is taken apart so we can begin to clean it. Clean with this too. Okay, I'm going to take it off of the KitchenAid. Okay, I'm going to take this front piece off first. Okay, so I'm going to set this right here, making sure that all the meat is out of that front cover. Try to make sure all the meat and all the fat is out of this front plate. Okay. There too. I'm going to take that front propeller off and make sure that all the meat is off of it too. Now the spiralizer, this is where it gets funky. Okay. Some of that stuff is left inside. Not a big deal. Just trying to get my finger in there, try and get out what I can. Yeah, that's about good. Now this part, if the fat is really tough and it didn't want to go through there, like this right here, got stuck around, this is just going to be trash. Okay, so not a big deal. Now with these pieces, it's very, very important to never lose any of these smaller ones, okay, because this thing won't work without each individual piece. Okay, and all I really do with these is I soak them for a while in the sink, and I let them air dry out in the towel. Okay, a little soap and water. Sometimes with this front propeller, if you don't get all the meat out, it can turn really rancid. So I always try and make sure I wash it out really well. And then I soak just this plate in oil. Okay, it allows the the stoppage of oxidation. Okay, that way if you leave it a little bit wet, it won't rust on you. Okay, and after I wash these off with soap and water very gently with just a green scrubby, no wire. Okay, you don't ever want to try to use wire on stainless steel. Okay, and then I just let these air dry out on a towel for a couple hours. Make sure that they're nice and dry after that. And then I put them away in a nice sealed container. Okay, like I said, you don't want air with any of those. So that's it on grinding meat, guys. Get a little soap in there. Let's go back to our finished product really quick. All right, so we're going back to our finished product here. We have our pork and our beef all ground up from that strip loin. Now, I did have some ground beef from the store. Like I said, it was 80-20. I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this in. Now, this mix right here is perfect for meatballs. It is perfect for bolognese. And what I try to teach people, you know, when you're doing these amounts, it's important to try your own way before you know, you have any directions. But the purpose of most of these videos is to just kind of teach you the techniques. Okay, teach you the techniques, teach you to have proper equipment, teach you to, you know, have a nice set of knives, a nice cutting board, and to be safe and to learn on your own. You know, I want you guys to use these videos as a strong jumping off point. You know, teach you about flavor profiles and techniques and all these little nuances that come with cooking, and just sharing some of my skills that have come with time and patience and persistence. So, like I said, 60-40 mix, pork and beef. We've got some ground beef in here. We've got some strip loin, which will add some great flavor and texture. And then we have some ground pork scraps. And you see all the white fleckles in there? That's from pork, and that's going to create great flavor too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate everyone's support. And I hope you keep watching. Thanks.